Okay, we're back again. Now, guys, let me know if you cannot hear me right now, and I will just stop the episode and just go right into the Facebook Live featurette. It won't be as pretty, but you will still be able to get the information that I'm telling you. So right away, right now, as soon as you hit, as soon as you see the live thing come up, please tune in. Let me know if you can hear me and see me clearly. If you can't, we might have to just scrub this mission for today, or I'll try one more time, third time's the charm, and see if things are working. So Devon, can you hear me? I know you can see me, but can you hear me? I feel like that Sprint commercial. Yes, no, maybe so. I have no idea what happened. Everything looked fine on my end. No problems whatsoever. And okay, just checking by muting myself, unmuting myself. So go ahead and give me the all clear if you can hear me. And I will continue with this episode. Okay, so Devon can hear me, so I'm going to continue. Maybe it was just because I was trying to be fancy, having the little Instagram lead in before the Facebook lead in. I don't know. I have no idea. It wasn't working, and now I have like the Be Live software people saying like, I noticed that you had problems, and I'm just like, yeah, I can't troubleshoot the shoot this right now. I've got a class to teach. Oh, good. Yay. Wonderful. Yes, I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you. Yes, can hear you. Awesome. Great. Thank you all for rolling with me. Um, Let me put this back up again. Hydration. Yes, don't forget hydration. So before I get back into the book recommendations, I'm going to start back over again. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again, but I am going to tell you about Who Are You in the Tarot by Mary K. Greer, and also Kitchen Table Tarot. Those are going to be the two recommendations. But I forgot to introduce myself. But if you guys have been tuning in for the last few months, we do this every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I will cover a tarot topic of your choice. Doesn't necessarily even have to be about tarot. We can talk about divination. We can talk about witchcraft. We can talk about the new moons and the full moons. No subject is truly taboo, you know. But I am Hillary of tarotbyhillary.com. The website is right there if you want to schedule a reading with me. I am a professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with your intuition because, yes, my friend, you have intuition. I believe everyone has intuition. It is a sacred gift us as humans all have. And the point and the problem is getting back to that intuition and clearing the way for it. So we can actually use it as this beautiful tool that we have to empower ourselves and to bring the future to ourselves that we want to happen. So that is my introduction. Hello and welcome. If it's your first time tuning in, welcome. I am so glad that you're here. If it's your seventh time tuning in live or watching the replay, welcome. I am so grateful for you. So tonight's episode is all about tarot numerology. It was requested by one of my Twitter peeps, Dina, wanted to know about the 5s through the 10s of the Minor Arcana. So I said, let's just do them all. Let's talk about tarot numerology as it applies to the Minor Arcana of the tarot. Because sometimes like the aces feel like they're very clear, like new beginnings, it's a start. The 10s feel very clear, you know, oh, that's the ending. But it's the numbers in the middle that we kind of get mucked on up on. So let's talk about those, right? If you have any questions about this topic, you can go ahead and drop them into the chat. And if you're watching the replay, you can still do that. I'm always checking in on different comments, whether or not you are here participating live or watching the replay. It's all the same. You're all getting that groovy information, and it's all energy. We're all connecting, maybe not at the same time. So the two resources that I have for you guys tonight, book recommendations. And by the way, if the sound cuts off or cuts out, or the video cuts in or out, please let me know right away so that I'm not jawing over here and thinking everything's copacetic. Let me know right away. So the first book that I would recommend is Who Are You in the Tarot by Mary K. Greer, all about birth and year cards. Lots of numbers in here, but if I can do this type of math, so can you. I am really, really bad at math, but this is kind of an addition. Like, it's adding numbers together in your birthday or your birth year or the current year, and then whittling that down through that addition down to a number that is associated with the tarot. So what I was saying before I realized that that the sound cut out is, like, for example, each of the minor arcana numbers are associated with a set of the major arcana. So for example, the Magician, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Sun, they are associated with the minor arcana aces and the tens. For example, the constellation of the Emperor, that happens to be me. That is associated with the Emperor, Death, and the Fool cards, and the Minor Arcana force. So if you know off the top of your head that the Emperor is number 4, is numbered 4 in the Tarot Major Arcana, you can kind of see or start to see the association with the Minor Arcana. So that's the reason why I'm pulling up this book here, more for its association with the Major Arcana cards. Now, everyone got that? The second book that I recommend is Kitchen Table Tarot by my friend Melissa Sonova, one of my other co-hosts for the Card Slingers Coast to Coast podcast. And by the way, we have listened to popular demand and your requests, and we are going to be publishing more podcast episodes on a twice a month basis. So like every other week, we are going to be releasing more episodes. So it's not just going to be once a month. You're going to get episodes twice a month. So thank you for your awesome feedback. Thank you for supporting the podcast. It means so much to us, and we really appreciate all of the comments and questions that you have. So this is my co-host, one of my two co-hosts, Melissa Sonova, Kitchen Table Tarot. The way she structures, so many beginner, quote unquote beginner tarot books have like keywords or interpretations of the, okay, so Devon's saying yay, so I'm assuming that's in relation to the Card Slingers podcast. We were listening, we heard you. So many tarot books have at the least a barest minimum interpretation of each and every card in the tarot deck. So 78 interpretations, sometimes 78 times 2 if they decide to put in reversed interpretations. But what I like, so Melissa's Kitchen Table Tarot does have this, but what I like about this is sometimes it gives it individually, and then it separates out between, of course, the minor arcana suits. But what I love about this is she doesn't necessarily do that. She talks about the different elements of the minors, but she also then talks about the numbers. So here, right before she talks about all of the aces, pentacles, cups, wands, swords, she talks about the aces, like the number of the aces. And then you move on to the twos. And then she talks about the twos and what the twos mean. So then the threes, then the fours, all the way through 10. So you can see how I would recommend this as a resource, not just as like a great resource in general, but also a great resource about the numbers and what they mean. And we are going to talk a little bit more about that individually, different tips and tricks that I can offer up to understand the numbers of the different suits better. So Jessica's asking, strength and justice flip flop depending on the deck, Rider Waite versus Thoth or Toth. How would you handle numerology with those cards? It's a great question. Hold on, let me pull that up. Use my software. That's an awesome question, and I have dealt with that before. When I'm teaching my tarot students, I always want to call that out because I don't think it's necessarily just Rider Waite versus Toth. I think sometimes in certain Rider Waite decks, they can sometimes switch the strength and justice card. And I think it depends really on the artist's interpretation of what they feel justice or strength to be at numerologically. So we talk a little bit, I think we've talked a little bit about this before, at least I've definitely covered this topic with my tarot students. But I know for sure that Mary does talk about this in Who Are You in the Tarot for that particular concession. So, like, for example, here, the constellation of the High Priestess is the High Priestess, Justice, Judgment, and Strength. So it could be that the designation goes with the Minor Arcana twos and that numbering. Hold on, let me see. Give me 1 second here. Aha. I'm sure she talks about this, though, in this book. Page 73. Justice, adjustment, Libra. Hold on. Justice. It's like if you're there are different designations for your birth cards, depending on whether or not your numbers add up in a different way. So like there's a single two, like 2 2. There's an 11 2, a 22, and then if you see 11 as strength, read strength as the number 11. So I think, this is my personal opinion, I think go with whichever number that you associate with that. So if you see strength as an 11 instead of an 8, use those particular designations. If you see strength as an 8, go with that. And most of the time it is an 8 and 11 thing. You know, strength is 8, justice is 11. But I would say go with what makes sense personally to you as a reader. So I hope that makes sense. Hold on. Let me pull back up this. Okay. So let's talk about these numbers. So, and apologies again for the technological snafus, and I will certainly blame Mercury in retrograde for those tech snafus because that's the kind of shit that happens when Mercury is in retrograde, right? I need to pull up. Hold on 1 second here. I swear I had it before. Let me see if I can pull it up quickly. Tarot numbers. Perfect. Found it right away. So I'm going to drop this link into our Facebook right now so that you can get more information. So this is the blog post that I was talking about before we had the tech snafu. But let me go ahead and do a save as for this image because I want to pull up this image because it is such a great image, and not necessarily, so I'm going to give this with this caveat. I don't necessarily agree with all of these keywords that are stated, but this is not me. This is not from my blog. This is from a fellow tarot reader's blog. But I agree with many of the keywords that she suggests in this post. So hopefully that did post. Great, cool. So let me show you. All right. So here you go, and let me take down my pretty background stuff, well, at least my overlay, so that's not blocked out, and I will take away my information when we get down to the tens. So this is coming from angelorum.co. This is Lisa. I want to be able to give her proper credit for this. But it's Lisa Friedberg Lloyd, I believe. So can everyone see that, and can everyone still hear me? So really quickly, going down through this list, the aces, most people don't have trouble with the aces. The aces usually represent, because they're the number one, they usually represent beginnings, potential, gifts, or inspiration. The aces, to me, I liken to, and I get all sciencey with it, but I liken it to the difference between potential energy and kinetic energy. So the aces are potential energy. They are the potential energy of that suit. For example, Ace of Cups, potential for love, potential for emotions. Ace of Swords, potential for communication or potential for conflict, depending on the context of the reading. Ace of Pentacles, potential for money, potential for opportunities or job opportunities. And Ace of Wands, with that big fat wand of the will, the drive, the go, the motivation, and can sometimes indicate sexual energy as well, because the wands tend to be certain aspects of the wand suit can be very sensual and very in touch with their creativity. So potential for creativity too. So does everyone understand that? And let me know if there are any questions. And I'm gonna hydration break, very important. Because sometimes there's a little bit of a time delay when the chat window comes up. So the twos, based on this, is choices, duality, balance or imbalance, as the case may be, and reflection. So there's no particular argument that I have with those keywords for the twos. I feel like the two can be a very balanced number, but it is also that beginning of the situation. So it's not that it's just one removed from the ace. So it feels like more towards the beginning of a situation. Threes, growth, creativity, birth, synergy, and chaos. Don't necessarily agree with the birth or the synergy part, but certainly the chaotic part can come into the mix depending on which suit the three is coming up in. Like the Three of Swords, no one likes to see the Three of Swords, but everyone likes to see the Three of Cups. So maybe that synergy is reflecting the more positive threes, while the chaos is reflecting maybe the more negative threes. Fours. The fours are stability, organization, power, and also rest. So you may be able to, like, if there are like four keywords, for example, those keywords might be associated specifically to a specific card. Like, for example, that rest keyword, that makes me think of the Four of Swords, which typically to me signifies rest, relaxation, recuperation. The Four of Pentacles, for example, to me represents both the keywords of stability and organization, and also being in power. Because if you visualize the Four of Pentacles, and let me see if I can pull it up real quickly. Well, I can definitely pull up the Four of Wands right away here. So, like, here's the Four of Wands, for example, when we're talking about the fours. There's certainly an effort of power there because they're raising up their bouquets and victory. But to me, that card also means gatherings as well, but also organizing that gathering. Let's see if I can pull up another four. Probably not right away. No. But can everyone see how this quick list could be helpful as you're navigating through the numerology of the tarot? I think so. So the fives, oh, those fives of the tarot. So the fives are conflict, forced growth, adaptability, and competition. So I definitely see competition when I see those fives. Those fives are not comfortable. While with the fours, yes, you're not quite the middle of the situation, but there's like a rest point. There is a stability there. And also in regular numerology, the fours tend to be associated with stability and strength. While the fives, the fives can be really uncomfortable because the fives are right smack in the middle of that situation. Whatever it is, the Five of Wands, the Five of Swords, it indicates that you're halfway in, you're halfway out, but you're also halfway into the situation. That can be very uncomfortable. So fives are conflict, forced growth, adaptability, and competition. So I definitely see that competition keyword when I'm looking at the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords. More specifically, the Five of Wands, especially there has this forced growth is an interesting keyword association, but I don't think it's that far off from that competition situation. And maybe that Five of Wands, um it's a friendly competition and that forced growth is happening, but it might not have happened otherwise without that competition. So again, context is everything when you're reading the tarot. So take these keywords if they are helpful to you, but remember the context of the reading. Like if you're reading just one card, like take this into account, but look at the surrounding cards to help you decide what the true interpretation or the meaning is. So sixes are about success, beauty, transit, and harmony. Certainly, I can also add another little keyword for the sixes, and that is about distribution of resources. Especially when I think of the Six of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. Like Six of Cups, there's a distribution of emotions, of feelings, some nostalgia there as well. While the Six of Pentacles has the scales and has a person doling out money or resources. So I would add to that keyword list and say like distribution of resources based on which suit we're talking about. Success, definitely for the Six of Wands. That's the Lord of Victory. So I would associate success with that. And then transit, that would be the Six of Swords, what I associate with travel and also up leveling. Make sense, everybody? So the sevens are planning, cunning, strategy, and victory. Don't necessarily know if I agree with all of these keywords, but certainly Certainly for planning, I would say the 7 of Pentacles. Cunning, I would say the 7 of Swords. Strategy, I would probably say the 7 of Wands, and then victory for the 7 of Cups. But the 7 of Cups to me, can sometimes indicate idearrhea and so many different options. You don't know where to go, which way to choose. Which I don't necessarily consider as being particularly victorious, shall we say. No offense to Lisa, who gave these keywords. It's just all of us come at the tarot in different ways. So the eights, strength. So that answers a little bit of a question from before from Jessica. So this person definitely associates the eights with strength. Evolution, control, and release. So the Eight of Pentacles to me is about control, and also not necessarily sweating the small details, but being detail orientated, working with your hands, being meticulous about your work. And actually, interestingly enough, the Eight of Pentacles did come up as the card of the day for today. But it came up reversed. So to me, I got a different interpretation from the Eight of Pentacles being reversed as not caring so much about a situation, or not caring more than the person that is in charge of that situation. So that was my interpretation of the Eight of Pentacles. Let's see what else. Control as well, for the Eight of Swords, but it can also be control and also release from the Eight of Swords stagnation. Nines are contentment, contemplation, and re-evaluation or evaluation. Not necessarily the case for the Nine of Swords, though. The Nine of Swords I consider as the card of nightmares and self-doubt and cycling worry. So I noticed that there's no keyword association with that particular card. But the Nine of Cups can be about contentment, and it also can be about success as well. The Nine of Pentacles can also be about contentment, satisfaction, also luxury. So you can see how, again, this is a great quick cheat sheet, but you also want to dive deep into what you see when you see these particular cards, especially in the context of a reading. Now I'm going to go ahead and remove my little name there so we can look at the tens. The tens are germination, pinnacle, satiate. I'm not going to be able to pronounce that right. Satiety, and fulfillment. So to me, those are the ending cards. Like, for example, the Ten of Cups, what we all want to see is that fulfillment, is that feeling satisfied card, is that happily ever after. I notice again that there's not really a negative keyword for like the Ten of Swords, for example, where it's just like, it's over. It's over, it's done, the situation is over and done, and it might not be the ending that you want it to be. The Ten of Wands can be associated with too many burdens, or being overburdened or overworked. I feel like I'm missing one. I'm sure I am, but you get what I'm saying. So that is, at a glance, the numerology for the Tarot Minor Arcana. So what I'm going to quickly do, I am going to leave this up on screen so that you can see these keyword associations. I'm going to just put my name back up here. And while I'm pulling this out, I wanted to pull some keywords that I'm seeing from Melissa's book about the same numbers here, and see if we can get a little bit deeper here and offer up a different interpretation of tarot numerology. But in the meantime, I would love to hear which of these resonates for you and which of these do not, and put in your own associations. Like, what do you see the sixes to be? What do you see the fours to be? I would love to know in the chat while I'm pulling up and talking a little bit about aces through tens again here. So tell me, tell me, tell me. I want to know. So the aces are the essence, and this is again from Melissa Sanova's Kitchen Table Tarot. Highly, highly recommend, not just because she's my friend, but because she's very, very smart when it comes to tarot as well. So the aces are the essence, the very core of what the suits are. I've heard of spirit animals being called bear or fox, capital letters intended to put forth the idea that fox is the absolute essence of what it means to be a fox. It's a complete picture of what the fox entails, traits, tendencies, everything. It paints a complete picture of the specific entity to which you are referring. So she's just so freaking smart. The aces are very similar. They are the nucleus of each suit, the brain of the swords, the heart of the cups, the backbone of the wands, and the root of the pentacles. The basic deck always makes me think of Monty Python, so I remember this because of the natural exaggeration of the tools. Remember, when you look at the aces, you're seeing a big cup, you're seeing a big pentacle, you're seeing a big wand and a big sword. I wish I had, let me see. I am going to find that really quickly for you guys so you can see that association. Here's my Minor Arcana. Let's just put up. So there you go. Like, that's just, it's a natural and on purpose exaggeration of the different tool that we're featuring in the different Minor Arcana. You've got the hand of God bringing forth this wand or that cup, and it's presented to you freely as a blessing. The ace cards represent the pure, undiluted core of what that suit encompasses. So this is the reason why I have smart friends. They make me sound smart in comparison, but that's what people are supposed to do. They're supposed to uplift you and educate you and remind you of your own smartness too. So thank you, Melissa Sanova, for this wonderful book. It's really, really great. So those are the aces. The twos, let me hide this one here. So twos, remember, choices, duality, imbalance or balance, reflection. The twos are coming together. The twos have a theme of plans coming together. The wands are plans coming together before the action of the three. The cups are two people becoming a couple. The swords represent clarity of thought and ideas taking shape. And the pentacles show someone juggling all of the responsibilities, flowing and taking shape beautifully. So yes, the two of pentacles to me is that struggle of the juggle. Sometimes, like right there in the keywords, imbalance, balance and imbalance. Balance is not a noun, it's a verb. It's constantly moving and shifting as we move and shift. So I hope that makes sense. Please let me know if that makes sense to you guys. So let's see. The threes are about journey. Threes represent a journey, an emotional, physical, or intellectual journey. What is certain about all four of the threes is that change is coming. That might be the reason why some of the threes of the tarot are uncomfortable. The Empress is the third card of the Major Arcana, so we are pulling this back in. She's all about authenticity and relaxing into yourself. You can use that association to think about the threes in the pips, aka the suits. The cards are about finding your stride and getting to the core of the issue, however painful or exhilarating that will be. So she's not only like, you're taking my job. She's also talking a little bit about the Major Arcana and the Major Arcana's association with the numbers, the Minor Arcana numbers. So the fours, and I'm not going to read out loud all of these because we just don't have time for that. Sorry, folks. But the fours are about resting. The moment of peace, awareness of your possessions and surroundings in the pentacles, the clarity of mind in the swords, the breath before the celebration in the wands, and even the wariness and anew of the cups. There's a feeling of putting down defenses and relaxing into the now. So much of the tarot is looking into the future. The fours are the present. So just pick up Kitchen Table Tarot. You can read all of this for yourself. So the fives are renewed action. These cards are hard. You don't get to pretty these up for clients. You just have to tell them what's going on. So yeah, the fives suck, but the key word there is renewed action. Let's see. The sixes are recognition. The charity witnessed in the pentacles, the laurels that decorate the six of wands. We see the understanding that one needs to move to safety as the swords urge us to do so, and the moving backward to the innocence in the cups. All about recognition. Interesting. They are present orientated cards. The sevens are conflict, whether it's conflicting ideas and morals to fighting or frustration. Sevens, again, not easy cards. Oh, Katie's having network issues. Sorry. Yep, watch tomorrow. So glad you were able to check this out. And yeah, the fives are hard. You are not alone, Katie. The fives are hard cards. Sevens apparently are hard cards too, especially if you're impatient. Each of the sevens say that you don't get what you want just yet. Damn, she can be really, really harsh. By the way, she reads tarot just like how she writes and just like how she interacts on the Card Slingers podcast. Like this is this is my friend, and she's also sometimes crashed these episodes too. So the eights. Where am I? What am I doing? The eights are about hope. There's still confusion, still unsurety, but the person is this close to getting that spark. Pentacles and wands are in the midst of hope and determination. The other two are occurring in the moment before the hope kicks in. I agree. The nines are burgeoning. The nines are about maturing. Even the direst of the nines, the swords, is about awareness. Awareness isn't always comfortable. Whew. Yep. And then finally, the tens are about excess. The tens are just overdone so much. How flippin' long can you stand and wave at a rainbow? Jeez. What a downer. So, and then the 10 of swords, you can be empathetic without owning someone else's tragedy. You can be compassionate without carrying their hurt around with you. So just pick up this book. It will really help you immensely, especially if you are having trouble with tarot numerology. It is not the same as regular numerology. The tarot has its own system, and it is not done willy-nilly. All of the symbols that are on a tarot deck, all of the numbers associated with the tarot deck, they are very well thought out for good reason, as you can see. So let me quickly switch over to Mary Kay Greer's Who Are You in the Tarot? I was about to say, where are you in the tarot? That's another excellent question, right? So really, really quickly, and let me put my overlay back on, make it all nice and pretty again. Okay, there we go. So who are you in the tarot? I'm going to show you or tell you the associations very quickly with the Major Arcana. So let me find that real quick, because I know there is a table. I swear there is a table. By the way, Mary K. Greer writes in this book, I was first introduced to the concept of tarot constellations in 1978 by Angelus Arian, who taught tarot using the Crowley-Harris Thoth deck. Okay, so this might answer some questions that Jessica had before too. She explained how she was playing with the cards one evening and had laid out both the major and minor arcana in groupings based on the numbers, all the ones together and all the twos together, etc. She then included all the cards that added up to each of the 9 single-digit root numbers. For instance, since 17 equals 1 plus 7 equals 8, the 17th card, the star, was placed with the 8s, and so on. So, she was arranging the groups into patterns when the phone rang. It was Joseph Campbell. Now, guys, if you've read or watched anything that I've done, I've already spoken about Joseph Campbell. So, author of works on mythology and symbolism and comparative mythology, with whom she was leading a workshop at the Esalen Institute. He was excited by a realization he had recently had of how constellations are not just in the sky and stars, but such pattern groupings occur everywhere in our lives. Angie says she stood there as Campbell spoke and looked at the cards she had just grouped together all over the floor and saw that they were tarot constellations. To the extent that constellated patterns within yourself determine your character, they become patterns of personal destiny, major forces that motivate and direct your life. Woo! Pick up this book too. Anyway. So, and that little story actually illustrates something that I wanted to point out for you guys to understand the tarot numerology a little bit better. And that would be my suggestion of laying out all the aces in the different suits side by side and taking a look at them across the board. Take a look at all the twos. Take a look at all the threes, fours, fives, all the way through 10. Look at them in a row together and see both the similarities and the differences. This technique, this trick, I've recommended to my tarot students time and time again, and it tends to really help them not memorize the cards, because I don't personally think that memorization works in learning tarot. I did end up doing that when I was first learning tarot, but I really feel that while it was a good exercise for me, it's not necessarily the best way to learn tarot. Simply looking at the tarot and working with the tarot will kind of, you'll get pruny in the meanings, and the stories on the cards will talk to you in a way that you understand. But spreading out each of the numbered cards, the threes, the fours, the fives across, and looking at the similarities and the differences, my tarot students have reported back to me and said like that alone has helped them immensely. So I'm going to recommend that to you guys. Hope that makes sense. All right. So let me see here. I wish there was a chart here. Oh, there's a chart. All right, cool. So on page 51 of Who Are You in the Tarot, we do have the association of the tarot constellations chart. So the numbers associated, and I'm going to go right down the list here. So the minor arcana cards of the 1s and the 10s are associated with the magician constellation. Hold on. Yeah. And the magician constellation is the sun, the wheel of fortune, and the magician. The 2s of the minor arcanas are associated with the high priestess card constellation, which is judgment, justice, and the high priestess. The 3s are associated with the empress constellation, which is the world, the Hanged Man, and the Empress card. The Emperor is associated with the fours of the Minor Arcana. And the Emperor constellation is the Fool, Death, and the Emperor. That's my jam right there. The fives are associated with the Hierophant constellation, which is Temperance and the Hierophant. The sixes are associated with the Lovers constellation, which is both the Devil and the Lovers. The sevens are associated with the Chariot constellation, which is the Tower and the Chariot. The eights are associated with the Strength constellation, which is the Star and Strength. The nines are associated with the Hermit constellation, which is the Moon and the Hermit. And again, as Jessica asked before about the whole switcheroo of strength and justice, do what feels right for you. If you associate the strength as an 8 and the justice as an 11, go with that. If you associate justice as the 8 and strength as the 11, go with that. But I believe, let me see, strength and star. What I was saying before was in a certain constellation, I think it doesn't matter. I think both of them are within the same constellation. Let me see. So you can either associate justice with the High Priestess or with the Strength constellation, depending, and then strength, vice versa. You can maybe associate it with the High Priestess. It really depends on where you see that numerologically. So, hope that made sense to everybody. Thank you all for bearing with me. I was going to, especially with the technical snafu issues, I am sorry about that. Let me go ahead and do the weekend forecast to reward all of you that stuck with me thus far. Dina says, sorry to have missed most of this. I will listen to the replay too. Well, Dina, you're the person that recommended this, I believe. So thank you for suggesting it. And again, everyone, if you have a tarot topic or a divination topic that you would like me to address in future episodes, please go ahead and email me, hillary@tarotbyhillary.com or terrytowntarot@gmail.com. I do have contact forms on my website, again, below tarotbyhillary.com. So you can always hit me up there, or here on Facebook, you can use direct messenger and let me know what you want to learn about. So I am going to grab from I was going to use the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith, but I think I'm going to use the Mystic Dreamer this time. Yeah. Let me do that instead. Excuse me. So let's do the weekend forecast, and then I will send you on your way, because I have my tarot students tonight for my signature course, the Tarot Intuitive. So let's do that. Where is this? All right. Okay. It's weekend forecast time. Thank you all for bearing with me. So this deck that I'm using right now is the Mystic Dreamer Tarot by Heidi Duras, or Duras. What do we most need to know for this weekend? Okay. Well, that's interesting that we're getting the Hierophant card, though it's coming up reversed. So there you go. That's the Hierophant card. So the Hierophant card coming up reversed. Sometimes when I see the Hierophant card upright, I think about dogma. I think about restriction, especially spiritual restriction or religious restriction, where you have a belief in something, but you don't know why you believe in what you believe, or you just are going through the motions, but it's rote to you. There's no feeling behind it. There's no sense of spirituality or truth behind it. I have problems with the Hierophant card, as do many people that have problems with organized religion. They see the Hierophant card and they balk because so often it's depicted as the Pope of the tarot. Um, but this particular Hierophant card doesn't have that so much. It has kind of like a roguish quality to it, which I kind of like. But he's reversed. So I do read with reversals, and when I see the Hierophant reversed, it tells me to turn the institutions on their head. It tells me that the conventional method is not necessarily the right method for you at this particular point in time. So again, this is the weekend forecast. So you might be encountering this energy, this situation this weekend, and you might find that the unconventional approach might work for you best. So follow your instincts, follow your intuition. You may need to turn things upside down in order to find that right solution for you. So hope that makes sense. We'll see. We'll see as the weekend goes on how much sense that will make. Let me go ahead and turn that off. And just want to remind all of you, we do this every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Send me your questions. Let me know what you want to learn about. I am happy to cover any divination topics, magic topics, and of course, tarot, my main squeeze. So thank you all so much for watching. I am Hillary, professional tarot reader, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with your intuition. Have a wonderful night. Oh, you're amazing too, Dina. All right, take care, everybody. See you next week.